get in the way of you setting the hook, and it's almost like it's too weedless. Now, I will say one thing before I get into this. I will fish it like this if I absolutely have to, if the cover is just so thick I can't do it the way that I'm going to show you here in a second. So say, for example, if I'm fishing a lily pad field or some type of grass, or maybe there's some openings this big around in it and everything else is matted, in a situation like that, I will have to fish it like this. And you just have to deal with the blow-ups and missing them, but you can't fish it any other way. But the way that I want to show you guys how to fish it is how I fish a horny toad most of the time, which is not in vegetation. This horny toad, guys, it is a awesome bait to fish just like you would a buzz bait or a walking topwater or a popper, fishing it over open type water. And I don't mean like out in the middle of the lake, but I'm talking about like throwing it just down a bare bank with no vegetation on it, throwing it around a lay down tree next to a boat dock, next to a stump, next to whatever that you have, just a shade pocket, just throwing it, going down the bank and throwing it the same way you would any other topwater. That's the way that I like to fish it. And I started, I should tell you guys a little bit about how I figured this out. I was fishing a tournament. I was actually practicing for the US Open down at Lake Mead in Nevada. The lake was up a little bit and the back of these pockets had some flooded grass in it. And I was throwing the horny toad back in there in practice, with the regular hook that I normally used to use, which is the EWG. And I was getting these fish to blow up on it, good ones, but I could not hook them. I mean, for whatever I did, I could not hook them. So it wasn't like real thick weeds. I was throwing more like along the edge of the weeds. So I got thinking, it's like, I got to figure out something else. I got to get a hook more exposed, or I got to get it farther back in there. So I started digging around a little bit, and I finally, pulled out this straight shank 4-aught Gamakatsu G Finesse heavy cover worm hook. And what I did is I came through the bait, and I wanted to get this hook as far back in the bait as I possibly could. So I came all the way back to the very, very, where the legs actually start to split right here. And I ran this straight shank hook down like that to where it was exposed. The bait was completely exposed like this. And guys, this made all the difference in the world right here. When I started rigging it like this, I started hooking those fish. And this has been my go-to setup. And I promise you guys, it will give you better action. It will hook a lot more fish. This is how you need to fish it anytime you can get away with it. Even if you're getting hung up a little bit. Say you're fishing it in some weed openings, it's even better to go with this and reel it for 5 or 6 cranks